possessing these documents. And I think it can be said, no one, even a former president, should be allowed to defy justice like that and get away with it.
Well, let's speak now to the federal defense attorney, Ronald Chapman. He's handled federal classified information investigations for the Department of Defense before. What is the scope of this indictment? Do we know?
Well, we know right now that the scope of the indictment is limited to handling of classified records. It's really important to note here that January 6th has not been mentioned as a part of this indictment, but prosecutors could what we call supersede and add charges to the indictment to potentially allege January 6th issues. So Donald Trump could be charged in 7 counts. It looks like obstruction of justice will be one of them. Mishandling classified materials will be another. I hear that there may also be a conspiracy count, which would mean an agreement with other people to obstruct justice or to mishandle classified information.
How serious would those charges be?
Well, these charges can be very serious. We have some cases where I believe Chelsea Manning was sentenced to 35 years in federal prison for a violation of these very similar crimes. But we also have examples in the United States where people have been sentenced to very low sentences. In 2022, a woman in Honolulu, Hawaii, was sentenced to only 30 months in prison. I believe that was actually 3 months in prison. And in 2021, there was another case where somebody was sentenced to 30 months in prison. Is jail time on the menu for Donald Trump? I don't believe so. I think this case will be likely resolved with some sort of agreement later on that may not include jail time. But it's certainly possible, and the U.S. law allows it.
Is the Department of Justice, therefore, in your view, being deliberately politicized here?
Well, I think if you look at the wording of the statute, it would criminalize knowingly mishandling classified information in this way. And so there's a violation of the law. Prosecutors are allowed to go forward and prosecute. I think the issue that everybody has is the timing of this prosecution and the fact that it was Donald Trump and not other people. We know Mike Pence, we know President Joe Biden also have had their own issues with classified information. And so the question is, why is Donald Trump being prosecuted? I heard the prosecutor that was on just before me say that that's because he defied the subpoena. And that's correct. But all of them would have violated nearly the exact same law. And so this really is an interesting choice to only go after Donald Trump for this.
Ronald Chapman in Detroit, Michigan, thank you very much for